Hello, hello, Periscope world. You're going to join me in my walk to work from Penn Station to Wall Street, unless, of course, I run out of space. Hello, hello. I'm walking up 34th Street in Manhattan, heading for the water. As you can see, there's a lot of construction going on. This is the post office here. Actually, I'm on 33rd Street. And I'm coming up on B&H, which is a audio place that I've never been to. But supposedly they sell reasonably priced electronics. And you can see the construction here, and we're approaching 9th Avenue. So this is my last walk from Penn Station to Wall Street. I've recently been transferred to Midtown, so I thought I'd put it on tape. And if you have any questions. Okay, so I've hit 9th Avenue, and you can see more construction. I would think somebody would get dizzy looking at this, all the bouncing. This is a new building. A lot of construction here because of the High Line. It's actually 7:50, between 7:50 and 8 o'clock right now. Oy, in a car. Truck almost pulled out and hit me. Had that on tape. There's a garage for the post office. There's a weird turn lane here. I'm going to try to get over. Hopefully I won't get killed. When you walk between... they don't make it easy. So we're on 9th Avenue. I'm facing downtown towards the Wall Street, which is pretty far away. And this is near a Lincoln Tunnel entrance. It's very noisy in the street, so if I'm yelling, it's because of that. And I'm trying to head over to what's called the High Line, which, if you haven't been to the High Line, it's a really good place to go. It's interesting, they turned a old abandoned railroad track into a park. And it goes from 14th Street to somewhere in the actually it goes into the 30s where I am now, and then it curves over to like the 40s. I haven't been there yet because it recently opened and I haven't seen it. But here again, more construction. They're building like crazy here. I mean, just from the last time I walked here, it's changed. I don't even think this building was up. I actually don't usually walk this way. I just tripped. I usually don't walk this way. Approaching the Lincoln Tunnel entrance. It's just not nice here. I can walk down other streets. Has a better feng shui. I never know if I say that right. But it's very noisy. And I'm going to make this light, so a little bouncing. Hey, one thing you might notice is that most of the time I can actually walk from 34th Street to downtown or Wall Street and not even have to stop at a light. And usually if you time it right, you can do that. In walking, I've noticed a lot of little tricks. One is if you're walking down a one-way street and you're walking with the traffic, it's actually much easier to make the light. Whereas you're walking against the traffic, it's much harder. So this is, again, I said, my last day at work in Wall Street, so I won't be walking this anymore. I guess I can always do it if I wanted to. I'll be working Midtown very soon in a new job, which hopefully I'll like. Okay, now here's the High Line. This is the one end of it. I don't know if you can see it. It says 30th Street and 10th Avenue. Here's again another new building and another one. Brand new building. And this is also a new building. And that's a new building. Okay, I'm running a little bit. And again, this is the High Line above me, and this is where I'm heading. And that's we're on 30th Street and 10th Avenue. It's going to take me down to 13th Street. It's really beautiful up there. It's more of the High Line. Again, this used to be an old railroad track. You can read about the High Line. Just Google High Line, New York City. This is new, this hot cider. Okay, so these are the steps. There's many places to enter the High Line. I don't know all of them. And this is, it used to end over here. There's an elevator if you're lazy. Okay, I'm heading up to the High Line. So again, it used to be a railroad track. There's my shadow. Welcome, welcome. I'm walking to work right now, and on the High Line. It's still noisy, a lot of construction going on. This is the new section, which I won't be heading down. Another new building. A lot of people jog on here. More new buildings, and supposedly they use native grasses, so it's actually really pretty. And there's an interesting smell, which I don't have today. They even, I think the flooring is something railroady, but I don't know. So there's very interesting fauna. I'm just getting over a cold, so I'm coughing a little bit. Another new building. More construction. Another new building. It's truly amazing. It's very relaxing. You're away from the streets. Welcome. Good guy 1977. This is my walk. Last day of work, walking to Wall Street from Penn Station, and I'm on the High Line right now, and they're doing some construction overhead. If you get to New York City, it's really one of the highlights. How they did this is truly amazing, because again, this used to be a railroad track, and they turned it into a park. And here's a staircase. Says there's elevators at 20th Street. I don't know if you saw that again. And all this is just covering because of the construction. It's amazing how much they're building. And there's beautiful flowers all over the place. I think some nice purple ones. And I'm trying to record this because it is my last walk. Some artwork. And some rundown houses that obviously one day there's some more artwork. Wait, jeez. Just to make it up. So it's I used to do it. It's a little out of my way to go to Wall Street this way because I have to walk to the water, which you can't really see that well from here. But it's I'm on 10th Avenue around, and the water's on 12th. Then you come across this metal grate with a hill. And what I read, they're supposed to make you feel like you're walking in the trees. But there's all these little alcoves, places to sit, interesting greenery. And you just really don't even feel like you're in Manhattan. There's a cute bench with a little hidden one behind there. This calls out, I'm just off the path now. I normally wouldn't do this, but there's a little there's food in there, bag with food. Just the sun is peeking through. Very interesting. And it looks like there's a staircase here, goes down to the street, and I'm not sure what street I'm on. Anyway, continue to walk in here. Now I'm in the trees. I don't know if it really feels like you're in the trees. Again, more little benches. Really great place to relax. But of course, rushing to work, like I am now, on my last day, doesn't give you the opportunity. That's interesting. And of course, since I've been here so long I've come down here so many times, it's not as exciting as the first time, but it is beautiful. There's some street art over here. That's kind of interesting. It looks like a little path on the side over there. So this is going to be a little over an hour walk usually. It's over 3 miles. I know what that is. Looks like tomatoes or something over there. It's an interesting building. Kind of has a weird shape to it. This is another very interesting looking building. This is all new. More new construction. So I haven't seen the railroad tracks, so they're over to the left. You can actually still see railroad tracks. Try and say that 5 times fast. Here it comes now. We're going to see the railroad tracks. This actually used to be a train line at one point. You can look it up. I'm not sure the years, but here's the rails that the train ran on. And again, joggers. Some more interesting real estate. There's again more buildings that will probably one day be knocked down. Interesting. You know what, these water towers, a lot of buildings have these water towers on them, wooden. And you can see we're at 10th Avenue, and it looks like 23rd Street. I don't know if you can see that. Historic railing. I've actually eaten at that restaurant. It's not bad. You get drinks there. There's a lot of nice places around here. And there are many panhandlers here, and it's actually really safe. You do feel really safe here. And there's like a little piece of nice grassy area. And there is a lot of art. If you like art. And then this building here has like a big sign on it. Blind idealism is reactionary, scary, deadly. And they crossed off reactionary and scary too. This wall always has some sort of interesting statement on it. Again, more construction. Truly amazing. Definitely over-constructed, I would say. Welcome Ray 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 Day. I'm walking through Manhattan, New York City on what's called the High Line. If you haven't been here, it's a beautiful place. It's my last day at my job and I'm trying to take a video of it to remember it by. But again, it's really pretty up here. It's on 10th Avenue between 30th Street and 14th Street in New York City in Manhattan. And if you've detected an accent, I do have an accent. It's from the Bronx, the Bronx as we like to say. And again, this scaffolding will be gone one day when they finish doing the construction. One thing about New York City, people aren't really that friendly. They normally won't look at you or make eye contact with you. I guess it's threatening. Interesting. Hearing the word Afghanistan. Little sign here. Actually, this is, I think this is a place where somebody sings opera, what I recall. There's another exit. More flowers. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer any question you have if I can. There's another new building. They put these buildings up in a really short time. And you see they have to put shades over there so you can't look in. And their shades are all closed. Very expensive, the real estate in Manhattan. I'm leaving Wall Street because I actually got a transfer. It's a kind of a funny story. I had my semi-annual review. I work for a pretty big company, and they review you twice a year, an annual review and a semi-annual review. And during the review, my boss asked me if I'd be interested in working in another department in another building. And it shocked me. For some reason, it felt like he was firing me. So I said, sure. Went on 6 interviews. And actually never met my boss until yesterday, my new boss, and I got the job. It was really pretty easy to get the new job because what I do now is similar to what I'm going to do, but I also got a raise and a promotion in transferring. So it started as me thinking I was getting fired, and it turns out that I got a promotion, and I know a lot of people I work with are going to be mad. And it's interesting because when I started, there were a lot of people who had a higher title than I did. I mean, I probably sound terrible talking about my title and stuff. And there's an interesting sign. Thanks for asking. I'm not sure what that means, but I've never seen a nude sunbather here. And if it's comedy, this always looks interesting to me. I don't know if you can see it. There's a artichoke pizza here. This is 10th Avenue. It's pretty quiet right now. It's probably, I can't see my time, but it must be at 8:15, 8:20 in the morning. It's Friday morning. And actually, you probably can't see it, but the Statue of Liberty is visible right now. It's right, that there's that overpass, and then to the right there's a little square. It's there somewhere. It's hard to see on the camera. This is an interesting place. They've changed the walkway to wood. Again, more benches. They keep the place immaculate, no graffiti or anything. And there's a little place you could sit. This is really cool. You can sit on the High Line and just overlook the traffic. I'll go over that. Normally, I wouldn't do this because it adds time. It's funny, there's a class going on. People aren't shy. A little pigeon. So you can sit here. There's another new building. And just watch the traffic go by. So we're at 17th Street and 10th Avenue. Again, I don't know if you can see that. So this is really 10th Avenue. It's pretty empty right now. And again, so much construction. It's amazing. There's an interesting sign in Arabic. I don't know what it says. And there's that pizza shop. Okay, so let's head back up, and I'll continue the walk. One thing that I always found it's really relaxing walking on here. It's such a nice way to start the day. My choice, I could actually take a subway. That would take 10 to 15 minutes. I would take the E train, make 6 stops, and it's pretty fast. Now I have a choice here. There's 2 paths. Kind of which path should I take? I'll take you on the more interesting one. There's one to the right and one to the left. And there's some bathrooms here. I think this has the, of what I recall, they might have the signs. Yeah, here it is. I think this is interesting that they now have signs saying you can use whichever one you want. So, but anyway, so there is a bathroom. When they first built it, they made these, you can't really see it, I'll try to show you. They made these little ramps here, and people used to trip on them all the time. We're coming actually close to the end of the High Line, and we're getting close to the water also. If you can see that. They have a lot of booths here. I'm walking under a building, still in the High Line. Artwork, and there's usually things to eat. There's some shirts for sale. Yeah, you know, walking is interesting. If you want to walk, well, first of all, I have a book. If you're interested in a book that kind of talks about this, it's called. Go to exceldiet.com, and on there's a book I wrote, 69 Immutable Ways to Lose Weight, I think. I wrote it a while ago, and it talks about walking, gives some tips. But really, if you want to walk, just one day at your lunch hour, or if you get one, just walk out for 5 minutes and come back, and you've got a 10-minute walk. And if you increase that, like every week, 15 minutes out, 15 minutes back, you got 30. And then if you can get to a half hour out to a half hour back, you've got an hour walk. And the first time I did the walk, it was really, really long. But once you do it a while, it's like you don't even think about it. And it definitely gets you in good shape. I sometimes do both ways, which could be between 6 and 8 miles a day without exercising. And here, there's some really nice benches here you can sit on, which it's hard to get sometimes in a nice. And this is very interesting. I don't know if you see this guy with in his underwear. But it's actually a statue. It's pretty cool. It's really well done. I guess it's a zombie in the underwear. And you can see we're getting close to the water. And also the end of the High Line. This was that other path. And there's, again, I don't know if you go, there's a pigeon saying hello to me. So we're getting close to, the water's right there. And I'm going to finish the walk down the water. Here's some more railroad tracks. I can go down here. I have gone down here sometimes. It's hard to get across the big street. Oh, it's really nice over here. We're in the meatpacking district. The sun is rising, if you can see that. This is like the happening place. Maybe it's not anymore, but there's a lot of models walk around here if you come out on a Friday night. There's a hotel here on the 28th floor of the Standard. It's a really fancy bar, really nicely dressed people. It's pretty enjoyable to just go and people watch. This hotel, I think this might be I think you can actually see that top floor is the bar, I think. And there was some times where people would say that people would just flash you from this building. They would just get dressed naked in front of their windows. I've never seen it. It's a little wider here, the High Line. So where do people live on, the three of you that are on right now? Any place near New York City? some artwork. We're going under this hotel now. It looks like there's an explanation of what this is. Oh, there's some sort of exhibit here. I think it's Samsung has put it out. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but I've seen lines there. I'm not sure. That's sunbathers. I'm not sure what that is. Oh, I guess it tells you what that is. And now we're coming near the end. This is, I've eaten here and had drinks here at the Brass Monkey. You can go up to the top floor here and hang outside. It gets really pretty crowded, young crowd. And then we can see New Jersey from here. Those big buildings in the distance is New Jersey across the Hudson River. And just a very pleasant place. You know, they say, yeah, wake up and smell the roses. They've never just stopped. I just tripped on something. I've never just stopped and sat and admired the beauty here. You can see the railroad tracks. I don't know if you can see it on here, but there's some railroad tracks here. And we are coming to the end of the High Line, which is the first part of my walk. I'm sniffling a little bit. I probably sound like Donald Trump because I've had a cold that I can't shake. If I cough for you, you'll hear the nice phlegminess of it. And this is near the end. This is a new building also. It's truly amazing. And that's the High Line. If it wasn't that crowded, which was good in the morning, in the evening, and pretty soon I don't know if it closes in the winter, but it's not as crowded as in the springtime. Okay, so we're coming down, and we're going to be at 13th Street about. There's a really nice bar that I like called the Beer Garden, which is just up the block. Kind of inside outside right below the High Line. Some nice stuff here. The High Line, the Beer Garden is like right back over there. This is Bubby's, which is a brunch place. They moved up here. So now I have a choice. I can walk along and go along the water. One of the things they have in New York City is they have these city bikes. You can rent these. I think they're like $10 for 30 minutes. They charge you extra. You could do it yearly for $100. But you basically put your credit card in, take the bike, and they roll over the place. You can park it. Welcome, welcome. So this is also nice, but we're going to get a different feeling along. I'm going to head to the water now. You know, Alexander Hamilton died here, I think. One of these buildings is very close. Not sure if it was on Horatio Street. Welcome, Hot Rod. Just to let you know what this is my last day working in Wall Street, and I'm walking from Penn Station to Wall Street on a nice, and I'm trying to record it just to remember it, this beautiful walk in Manhattan, New York City. Right now I'm going to guess about a third the way through. It's a very quiet, as you notice there's no one on the street. A lot of cars though, and it probably get noisier from the car noise. And we're going to be on West Street in a second, which used to be called the West Side Highway. There used to be a elevated road above this road here, and it would be more of a highway. And now they just have a very big street. And funny enough, the lights, when you walk enough, you learn a lot about how long the lights are and things like that. It takes about, I can count about 220 steps if once a light turns red. I don't know if that makes sense. A lot of dogs in New York City. actually, you can see the Freedom Tower from here. It's all the way in the background. So I'm going to be walking towards that, and I just got the light. Looks like. You got to be careful because it's so easy to get hit by a car in Manhattan. You have to be really aware. Not that I'm aware now. Okay, we're coming up on the, I'm not sure what it's called, but it's a park. It extends all the way from, it actually goes all around the outside of Manhattan. And there's a bike path, which it says yield to pedestrians, and they never do. And then there's also a walkway, and I'll just walk here for a few seconds. They don't want you walking here, you can. But for years I would walk up this path, and then one day I thought I'd walk over to the right, and then realize how beautiful it is. It's really nice to the right. A lot of this was damaged during that the flood. Just watching this woman walk her dogs, which she's not doing properly. By the way, if you have a dog, there's a show called The Dog Whisperer, a guy named Susan Milan, and he's really good. Oh yeah. Anyway, one of the things that the woman was doing wrong was she was holding the leash with tension, and you're really supposed to not have tension all the time on the dog's leash. You're supposed to correct them and then relax it so they know what they're doing wrong. Okay, so now I'm going to head over to the walking part of the path, and you can see we're at the water, and this is Jersey in the background, Jersey City actually, or Hoboken. They really built it up. This wasn't there a few years, probably 20 years ago. And now this path goes all the way to the Freedom Tower, which I'll walk by. I work pretty close. I work about 2 minutes away from the Freedom Tower. Freedom Tower is what they replaced the World Trade Center with, if you don't know. My wife worked in the building where the planes hit, the one, the North Tower, on the exact floor that the plane hit, but her company had closed a couple of years before the plane hit, so she wouldn't have been here had she been there. Matter of fact, I had two people I worked with at the time they worked with me, and they had a meeting in the World Trade Center, and both of them were killed. But anyway, sad. And you probably can't see it, but the Statue of Liberty is like right. Let me stop a second. Okay, there's a big building. This big building that's in the upper corner now, and then if I go to the right, that's not it. There's trees, and then right to the left of the trees, the Statue of Liberty is like right. You can't really, it's hard to see, and I can't really point it to you, but it's to the left of the trees. There's the Statue of Liberty. So you can see this walk, I can actually see the Statue of Liberty. And typically I also see on my walk Madison Square Garden and the Empire State Building, which once you see these things, you kind of, they're so interesting for people who don't live here, but when you see it all the time, it's like, big deal. So now it's just a walk from here. I've actually also rollerbladed. Some interesting quotes on marble or something. I can sail without wind, I can row without oars, but I cannot part from my friend without tears. Yeah, it's kind of appropriate. Welcome, Bingham. So, just for those who've joined, I'm walking from Penn Station to my office for the last day, so I'm recording it, just showing how beautiful it is. This is Manhattan, New York City, and it's a very relaxing, peaceful walk. There's all places to sit. They did a really great job here. This was not here years ago. Matter of fact, a lot of the parks in Manhattan would always have homeless people. You can see I feel very safe here. Manhattan is pretty safe. There's very few parts of Manhattan that I would feel unsafe. I guess if I went up to Harlem, I might feel a little unsafe. There's parts of Brooklyn also. And then you can see we're over on the park and on the water, Jersey City to my right. And there's always joggers here. One thing I've noticed about the joggers, they always seem to be jogging alone. Seems to be not a lot of people are friends. If you counted it, you would notice that I'm going to guess 90% of the people don't jog with anybody. And, again, a lot of dogs. So this is relaxing. Unfortunately, I won't get to do this anymore. But I guess life moves on. Welcome everybody. I am walking in Manhattan, New York City. It's my last day at a job towards the Freedom Tower. As you can see, it's about an hour walk. It's very enjoyable, very relaxing. A lot of healthy joggers I can see. Lots of places. If you haven't been to Manhattan, this is a beautiful walk. You don't see, it's more park and relaxing as opposed to seeing touristy things. You'll notice there's no tourist stands here. There are very few. It's another place they could. And they have these piers. This used to be boat piers, I guess. And this one they have artificial turf on. But it's interesting. You can go out to the end of the pier and see stuff. This one is Pier 46, it looks like, or yeah, I guess that's what it is. More places to sit. And there's other things that I didn't pass that are further behind me. I mean, there's the whole Intrepid Museum, which is a carrier, aircraft carrier, and you can go there and again, it's very relaxing. And even more construction. Some nice boats, more places to eat. There's a bathroom coming up over here. Dogs barking at the water. There's another pier that goes out. Some geese. I don't know if you can see them. There's the bathroom here. More construction. So I've been at this job for 9 years. First 2 years was as a consultant, and then 7 years as an employee. Made some friends, but now I'll be working in a new area, doing sort of new and some of the same things. So on one hand, I'm excited. On the other hand, I'm a little nervous. Hopefully, it'll go well. I used to walk this pretty fast, and recently, I guess as you age, you can't walk as fast as usual. Get my legs, I could feel it tightening up a little bit. Welcome everyone. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. Looks like for whatever reason, the park is a little damaged and they're putting up barriers now. So the different areas of Manhattan have slight differences, but this park doesn't show that, because it kind of has the same look and feel the whole way through. Let's show what this is. It's been here for a long time, and your guess is as good as mine. Good morning, LA. You're on my last day at my job, and I'm walking. It's about an hour or 3 to 4 mile walk, and I'm trying to stay on the west side of Manhattan, and I'm just heading towards the Freedom Tower. I work about a block or two away from it. and it'll get larger and larger as I get closer. Hey Austin. Yes, New York City. You see the Freedom Towers in the background. I don't know if you can see it, but on the left is the City Court building, and we're now passing. There's a big garage here, and I believe they have trapeze or I don't know, clown skills. They also have boat rides here. You can sign up. These are just some yachts. Hornblower is the name of the cruise. They should pay me for advertising. HornblowerNewYork.com. You can get a cruise out here. But on top of this roof, I believe there's trapeze training. I don't know if that's such a thing, but when we get close to it, I'll try and show it to you. There's also a field, like a soccer field, on the inside of this big structure is parking. Welcome, welcome. Here's the, oh, no, you can't see it here, but there is a field. Let's see if we can get a view of it. A lot of traffic in Manhattan. It's still pretty early. This is Pier 40. They had signs for kayaking. I never tried it, but it shows you the cruises to the right. It's been around for a while. That building on the left, it's hard to say which one it is a brand new building they just built, and then that one again kind of in the middle. Dance. I don't know how to dance. I'm walking, so, and you can see maybe you can see the soccer field. They're playing soccer there, all the way in the back. And there's a map here of all the activities. I'll stop there for a second. I don't know if you can see the soccer field. I'll go in a little bit. If I didn't answer your question, I apologize. Sometimes I'm busy looking at the scenery and I miss the question. So if I didn't answer and you want to ask again, please do. So this is inside Pier 40. There's a nice soccer field. I'm not even sure how it works, but I've always passed that. I've actually never come in here. Looks like they're playing baseball now. It's through the fence. Well, thank you for liking it. And again, these are things you notice. I've probably walked 2 million steps in Manhattan over the last few years. And you just see things, and I tend to notice things that other people might not. But if you can get out and walk and just explore, it's to me, it's a great thing to do. I don't know what it is about this. I don't know if you can see it, but West Street sign, behind it, there's like a little tunnel. I don't know, for some reason I like that. And we'll continue on. It gets, there's some nice places. They've done an unbelievable job of making this place nice. This building is a little ugly. I'm not sure. It's been like this for years. But it gets a little nicer right after this building is done. So any questions for a New Yorker? Well, New Yorkers walk fast, and the reason we walk fast is because I know for me, I'm always trying to make a train. I have a train schedule. I have a 6:01, and if I actually leave my office at 4:45, I can make the 6:01 easily and don't have to rush. But if I leave like at 5 o'clock, I do have to rush. I could see the Statue of Liberty a little bit better. I don't know if I can zoom this. I'm going to try. But it's kind of right in the middle of the screen right now. And zoom a little more. That's the Statue of Liberty. It looks much nicer from where I am, but right in the middle, that little line is the statue. And I'll continue on. Again, there's little grass areas. This fills up with people. Some tennis courts were coming up. And the kayaking used to be over here. I'm not sure what happened to it. That building, I think, has something to do with the tunnels. There's two tunnels over here, the Holland and Lincoln Tunnel. And behind that big building, I'm not sure what it does. And again, there's bikes here. You can rent. There's a nice map. Maybe I'll try and show you where we are. Okay, this is, you can see Central Park and you can get a part of me. But we're down on the bottom somewhere. We're actually over the water here. Okay, so I started from somewhere, Penn Station over here, and we've walked so far. Penn Station is right over here, Penn Station. And then I've walked to the west side. Some point I was on the High Line, probably over here. I walked to about here, came down the High Line to somewhere over here, and then walked over to the water. Now we're coming down over here. And that's Manhattan for you. So we're somewhere in the bottom. And then there's tennis courts. Some usually good people are playing here. Yeah, nice. Welcome everybody. You're on my walk to work from Penn Station. I'm heading towards the Freedom Tower, as you can see in the background, and Statue of Liberty somewhere on the right. As we get closer, you'll probably be able to see it better. If you haven't seen it or been down here, it's a beautiful park. It runs right along the water, and actually it goes all around the bottom of Manhattan, and it comes back up on the other side. They have to say they did a great job, and I'm on the streets in Manhattan, if you don't know, are numbered from if you start at Houston Street, they start from there, I think, at 1, and then they go up to probably 200. And so we're probably pretty close to Houston Street right now, which would be the end of the numbered streets, and then they only have names. I have done the rollerblading here. It's a lot of fun. It's a little bumpy though. There's a cute dog. Any questions while on my walk? I'd be happy to answer anything you have. Please don't be shy. Again, it's probably hard to see, but Ellis Island is where the immigrants came in. I can see it over the corner. Oh well, cool. Liberty Street. That's I used to work over there too. Welcome, welcome. And this pier goes out, so you can go all the way out to the end. I'm not going to do that today. But again, more benches, very nicely done, I have to say. This gets locked at some point. But this goes out pretty far, it looks like. You know, take a little walk on it. So I'll be a little late today. And over there is Jersey City. And again, I don't know that the Statue of Liberty is showing up. Let me try to get it again. It's right there in the middle. That's the Statue of Liberty. Yeah, there you go. You see it? Statue of Liberty. It's much easier to see live. I know the camera doesn't do justice. Some boats. It's not that crowded, the water. So I'm on a pier right now. They made it very nice. I'm not going to go all the way, but very comfortable benches. Yes, I am. I am in finance. Good. Cool. And again, people who have time can just hang out here. I don't have time because I have to get to work. My last day on my job. There's some cute birds on the bench here. And it goes all the way down. You know, maybe I'll go down a little bit. Why not? Welcome, welcome. I'm in Manhattan. Manhattan right now, on the water on a pier, and I'm walking to work. It's more of the coast, and again, Statue of Liberty in a minute. Yes, that's true. I agree. Early morning walks can't be beat. And now I'm heading into the sun, so it's probably nice shining off the water. And then there's the Freedom Tower, which we're heading towards. And just back up, you can see where we came from. No, I'm not leaving my company. What happened, I told you before, I'll say it again. I had my semi-annual review came up, and my boss said, there's a job in another department. And I wasn't sure what he meant by that. I wasn't sure if he was getting rid of me. So in some ways, I felt I might be getting fired. So I went on a few interviews, and I got a job in another department and a promotion. So it's pretty exciting about that. But I've been doing this for 9 years, going to Wall Street, and I'm going to miss it. And so I thought I'd record it for posterity. Is that the right way to say it? And here's some basketball courts. Now, yes, I am moving Midtown, moving by Bryant Park, which is really nice. It's nice there too, but I enjoy it here much more. In front of us is what's called Battery Park City, and they just kind of kept building it up. And to the right of the Freedom Tower, I believe, is the Goldman Sachs building. They don't try not to announce it too much. I guess they don't want crazy people going up. There's more places to sit. Again, you can see there's many people walking their dogs here, and they did a beautiful job. I mean, I just can't keep saying it. Now, used to be a pier. I was saying before that 20 years ago it was very different. It was some of these piers had gay men, hundreds and hundreds of gay men, and if you drove by, all you would see would look like a big gay club. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but you don't see that anymore. So the city has changed here, and I guess this was Pier 32, it says here. And I think for some reason they left the wood to encourage the natural marine life to start to build here. Things can grow in the wood. If I tell you, I'll have to kill you. I work for a big finance company, and I'd rather not say. And I missed that last question. But anyway, so we're getting closer and closer to Freedom Tower. Now, this is my favorite part of the walk. There's a little boardwalk here. And I always say, they also built some nice rocks here. It's like a little rock thing you can walk on. But I always say that if you do the same thing all the time, try something different. And the way I say it is, if you do what you've done, you get what you got. And so if your situation in life isn't meeting your needs or you're unhappy in any way, then really all you got to do is try something else. Because what you're doing is giving you... Oh, nice. I see you come from from Hoboken. You say that must be a beautiful commute. Hoboken is really nice, which is a town somewhere over there. And there's ferries that go back and forth. Here's like more benches to just hang out on. But you see, I'm in Manhattan now, and you could be anywhere. This little boardwalk, something about it, to me, is very relaxing. And it is probably one of my favorite places in Manhattan. Now, other parts of Manhattan are very crowded, a lot of cars. The more serene. Yes, it is. Johnny Action. It is beautiful here. And if you do have a chance to come to Manhattan, I highly recommend doing this walk or just checking it out. There is a lot of things to explore. Pretty soon I'm going to be heading. It really is. It's amazing how a lot of times I do have a car. I live in Long Island, and so I'm coming in from Penn Station. So I take my car to the train, and then I take the train from Hicksville. I take the train from Hicksville to Penn Station, and then I walk almost most of the time. I actually stopped doing it for a while because I hurt my foot a little bit, and it feels fine now. And then you see we're getting closer to the Freedom Tower. Welcome everybody. You're on my last day of work at my company. I'm not at my company, at my department, and I'm recording this for posterity. One thing I always notice is that people in New York are very unfriendly, in a way, but I think if you ask for help in New York, you'll get people will help you. I mean, yes, there are places, many places. There's a lot of books. I mean, you can Google things. There's just so much information, but you can see how quiet it is. How do I feel about leaving my department? I kind of have mixed feelings. As like most people, I work in a job 9 years in the same place. It becomes very easy. Not a lot of thought. It's kind of automatic, a lot of habits. So life is easy. So my new job, it's going to be tough. It's tough because it's new, like anything. And, hopefully, I mean, I could get fired at a new job easier, but there's always layoffs in these big companies. Well, yes, am I going to be walking to my new job? The new job is very close to Penn Station, so it's like an 8-block walk. So I will be. That's a cute little doggy. So I will be walking. I'm in finance. I don't know if anybody. I do work with credit derivatives reporting at my company. I know that just put everybody to sleep. But I do it for the money, I hate to say. There's thousands of things I would love to do instead. This is new also here. This wasn't here probably last time I walked. The Big Short, yeah. That's funny. The good thing about finance, it does pay well. And my current job, I don't have to really work that hard. When I say not that hard, it's just an 8-hour day. When I do work, I work very hard. I don't take breaks. I don't surf the internet. I mean, I'm actually very productive. Well, actually, I do have to do it for the money because as much as you can make in New York City, I have 2 kids in college, and I barely spend money on myself. I mean, all my money goes to just living. So almost no matter what your situation is, you can make. I make a lot of money. I thought, but when it comes down to what I have to pay, I don't. So I just described you. What is it about you? Same thing. I think a lot of people are in that boat. I mean, I think as good as the economy seems to be, 2 kids in college, yeah. I mean, I have the same car. I have a 10-year-old car. Your son's going to start university next year. It's tough. One thing I can tell you is that university can be really hard on kids. You should really prepare them that they might not like it. They might want to leave. I think I have a son who's having some issues, but he seems to be doing a little bit better right now. There's another bathroom here. Now, this is all new again. Funny enough, there's actually a beach volleyball court here. I think it's on this one. I'm going to actually go there. And you see there's a lot of stuff they built up. And that's Battery Park City. The building in front is Stuyvesant High School. Yeah, Manhattan is expensive. You have to make a decent salary, otherwise you can't live here. Yeah, it is nice. But I live, it's funny, people that live in Manhattan could have a very small apartment and it could be $1 million. And I have a very nice house, a decent sized house, yard, parking spot right in front of my house, and it's not even a third of that, but I have to commute. It's funny, this is a boat here. They had a library on here for a few days. This boat's just stocked here. But so we're walking down a pier now. I wouldn't normally walk this way, but I just wanted to show the volleyball courts. So what about going to a university? In terms of university, I mean, I don't know what it's like now, but I did not go to the greatest college. I went to a city college. I was not from wealthy parents. Sorry I didn't. Yes, university is extremely expensive. Very expensive. Here's the sand volleyball courts that most people don't know about. are. There are sand volleyball courts in Manhattan. And here they are. So, and there's a bunch of these piers, and they're really nice. Though, again, it gets cold in Manhattan. It's, there I am. I went to college, but yes, same with me. I think my college also was relatively cheap. Just to give you a sense, well, you enjoy it. It's really nice here. In terms of college costs, what I can say is New York State colleges cost like $22,000 a semester. And then if you go to a private college, it could go up to $60,000 a semester. I'm not wearing a Fitbit. Somebody asked, am I wearing a Fitbit? I have an app on my phone, so one of the free apps on my Android. And so we're getting closer to the statue. And this, you see, again, there's this artificial turf here. But one thing I have to say, it is really safe. I don't know if other people would feel it's safe because I'm so familiar with it, but it's really safe here. Like as you see, there's not one I haven't seen one homeless person on my entire walk. And there are homeless in New York City, but they tend to be not that bad. The subways can have homeless people, and if you ever ride the subway and all the cars are crowded and one is empty, do not get into the empty car because it means there's a stinky homeless person there. I mean, we say homeless. They used to be called bums. And there's some benches there. So anyway, we're coming up to Battery Park City. There's the Freedom Tower. And there's some light on the water. So I'm probably going to be a little late to work today. My usually start time is between 8:15 and 9 a.m. And since I took the longer walk, I'll get in a little later. And I'm going to walk through Battery Park City, which is also very beautiful. That's been here much longer than this park. And again, tables to see. Yeah, I just missed the last question. The sun was in my eyes, but I saw it's got something about the 70s and stale. But Manhattan has changed tremendously. It's gotten definitely... I don't know, nicer, but they just keep building. Like this is the Citicorp building here. Welcome, Nathy. And this is, I believe this is one of the colleges, this big building here. I think it's BMCC, Borough of Manhattan Community College. And there's a sign over there. Actually a long building. And there's a little bridge there, and this is Stuyvesant High School. It's it's a high school that a lot of smart kids go to. There's like a couple high schools in New York City where, if you're really smart, you go to. One was Bronx High School of Science, which I made, but did not go to because I didn't want to leave my friends who none of them made it. There's actually a skate park over here also. And there's a little sign that shows, and I'll show you some of it. Here's a skate park. I don't know. I never see people wearing helmets here. And there's nobody on it right now. And then they have a sign here that shows you all the things. You probably can't see them. But these signs are pretty much all over the place. Fields, etc., etc. Seems to be a carousel somewhere. And there's a map here that shows you how far. I mean, they were already Pier 99. And we're somewhere down here, I think. We're right at this bottom over here. I'm going to continue and finish this up. So we're getting closer. There's the Freedom Tower. It's getting bigger. And I'm going to take you by the World Financial Center because it's really nice. And there's usually some really big boats there. I used to work there and had a beautiful view of the Statue of Liberty, but not there now. Again, you can see more construction. And it's getting bigger. I believe it's 1,776 feet in height. Once again, a very relaxing walk, which is coming to an end. Some basketball courts. And you can see how clean they keep everything. I mean, I have to say, I haven't seen one piece of graffiti. I haven't seen one homeless person. And I can say it's very, very safe. Okay, so now I would normally walk straight here and head towards the Freedom Tower. It's getting bigger. I'm going to make a right turn into Battery Park City, only because it's really nice there, and this is my last time doing this probably for a while, if ever. Yeah, so I'm starting to feel tired. I guess it's helped doing this Periscope because it gives me something to do, makes it a little less boring. Hopefully I haven't been too boring for everybody. It looks like construction is taking place here. Again, at Stuyvesant High School. Welcome, Michael. I hope that's not creepy if I say your name. So now I'm heading out to I'm in Battery Park City now. Freedom Tower is behind me. Yes, did I walk from Penn Station? I have started at Penn Station. It's my typical walk, and like anything, it's actually not that difficult. It almost goes really quickly. It's all about doing it and building up to it. I've been doing it for years, and it's kind of a way to get free exercise, if you think about it. Instead of having to go to a gym or ride a stationary bike, I just walk. And so I have to get here anyway. It's definitely slower, but it's certainly more peaceful. So now, this is Battery Park City. They did a beautiful job here also. You can see the landscaping is really nice. Again, really quiet. If you notice, there's no people. I don't know why I'm whispering, but I just started to whisper. And again, just places to sit. No creepy people outside to bother you. They had some interesting artwork here. These little statues are really cute. They have them also on 14th Street. There's the whole... I have to go inside this little park. There's some Canadian geese there. You can see them. A lot of Canadian geese there. I mean, when you see Canadian geese, that means goose poop. My dog loves goose poop for some reason. But these are these little statues they have all around this park. Really cute stuff. Here's some more. That's very interesting. I mean, it's just standing there. Nobody's made graffiti on them, if you notice. There's a face. And then there's more little statues. It's just really nice. And this one is pretty interesting. There's a phone. I guess a fist. I don't know. And this is like a little house. Just really, really cool stuff. And it just goes on. Cat, cute little cat. Okay, let's continue. So this is Battery Park City now, and there's more. I've sat here to eat lunch. It's kind of walking distance. There's also a really beautiful park to my left here. So if you do, I'm not going to go through there today. But if you do come to Battery Park City, I'm going to show you where I am. There's this big thing here, and then to the right here, there's an opening. It's a really nice park, I think a very secluded park right over somewhere over there between the buildings, and you can walk there. It seems like you can't, but you can just walk in. You don't need to live there. It's an open park, but done very nicely. So now I'm going to walk in the grass for the first time, get my sneakers all wet. And I think this is the first homeless person. So I've walked an hour, and the first person, and again, the homeless people in New York City are pretty mellow. I mean, I've never had a problem. If you do see them, just ignore them. Don't, just walk by them. It definitely has more, but they are non-violent, I would say. I don't know if you can see it, but supposedly it's the biggest clock in the world. It's the Colgate clock. Doesn't look like you can see it right now. And we'll also see the Statue of Liberty a little bit better. It's just coming into focus. So then there's just benches all the way down here. I mean, again, at lunchtime this place is pretty crowded. A lot of people. And then somewhere over there, there's the world's biggest clock, supposedly. It's like 5 stories tall. That's it. That's the Colgate clock right in the middle there. And let me see if we can get the, I believe that's Ellis Island, or that is. I'm not sure which one. And then there's your Statue of Liberty. So it's very enjoyable. I mean, I do find myself lucky. I will miss this. This is one of the things that I had as on my list of why I shouldn't leave my current job, and it was so I didn't have to miss this walk. But it'll just mean I'll have to travel into the city more and enjoy it that way. Jersey City is here. We're coming on the ferry. This is the Hoboken ferry, I believe, or maybe the Jersey City ferry. So if you want to, you can get to Jersey City through the PATH train, or you can take the ferry here. And just to show you, here's some pool tables, and I mean they've been here for years, but some graffiti on them. Devil worship, I guess. But there are pool tables here. This Statue of Liberty is there. The building here is that's the Goldman Sachs building, that round one. And that's Battery Park City. And this is World Financial Center. That guy was a little creepy, but again, no harm. I didn't feel threatened in any way. Just looked a little disturbed. You probably thought I was disturbed talking to my phone. Okay, so I'm getting close to Freedom Tower. It's going to be coming up on the left. And again, there's the Statue of Liberty, which you can go inside if you haven't been to New York City. You can actually a lot. You can go inside of the Freedom Tower. I'll show what this is. I guess they call this the Governor Nelson Rockefeller Park, who was a governor of New York State, and also a Rockefeller. So I guess rich people can be politicians. A little playground. A lot of kids will fill this up, and later in the day. Again, more benches. So a nice little pond over here. That has, I think it has fish, but I've seen ducks in a pond. There's also some sort of potato famine memorial right behind it. And there's a few famous people live in this building, I'm not sure. Well, the question is, how do I feel when Wall Street is discussed in a negative light? I kind of ignore it. You know, people are always looking for a scapegoat, and Wall Street is a very convenient one. And of course, they have a lot of money and they probably buy politicians. But I would say my company is very honest. I mean, as much bad press as you see, these are like beautiful ducks. As much bad press as you see, it's really not like that. It's like kind of the media. Hate to say that, sound like Trump. It's the media just being negative on stuff. It is true that the companies were taking undue risks, and they have some regulations, which in actuality, it pays my rent. The regulations that they have, I'm one of the people that has to report to the Federal Reserve, or help report to the Federal Reserve on how my company's doing, making sure we're not taking too many risks. And there's a lot of money spent on basically no profit, but to make sure we don't go out of business. Risk type of work. And I'm sure that doesn't mean anything to anybody, but I thought I'd say it. So this is a potato famine memorial, I believe. And they're redoing it somehow. To the right of me was what used to be called the World Financial Center, and now is called Brookfield Plaza. So if you're looking, it's really cool in there. You know, I'm going to go through it only because I'll take you through the Oculus. The Oculus is pretty cool. So here's the Potato Famine Memorial. It's closed now. So again, here's the World Financial Center, also known as Brookfield Plaza. I'll come through here. And again, we're like right across the street from the Freedom Tower now. And again, there's Goldman Sachs building. Sometimes in the winter they put up a little ice skating rink over here. But the reason this is interesting is because of the large boats. There's some really beautiful yachts that park here. None of mine. Well, you should come down here if you haven't been here since they put up the Freedom Tower. It's really, really nice. And again, if you don't do it soon, the weather it's going to get cold soon. It's starting to feel a little cold. Probably, like it doesn't in New York City. It doesn't snow till after January, so you won't get snow. But like December, it starts to get pretty cold. So this is the World Financial Center, or Brookfield Plaza. I used to work in this building when my company moved me. And then there's the yachts over here. You can't really see them. And I don't see any really nice ones. But this place could be packed. You could eat outside here. It's very nice. Yeah. And I forget what this is called. You see the building, another building's going up. I think that's part of the World Trade Center. This big glass thing has a name which I forget. I guess as you get older, it gets hard to remember stuff. They changed this place though. Now it's like a very high, upscale mall. This year has paid seating, and then you can eat in the metal seats. You can eat for free. A little water from here, and it just keeps going down. And then that's the last look we'll get of the. Did I say World Trade? World Financial Center, if I said World Trade Center. And there's the Statue of Liberty. Sorry about that. And this place used to be packed. It died down after the 80s, I think. And so you can see it says Brookfield Place now, which they rebranded it. And again, you can walk into any of these places. This is open to the public. This is a really interesting place. This huge glass atrium with palm trees inside. Marble floors. There's Wi-Fi here, and they actually have a lot of concerts here. It goes down. There's more places. Places to sit, and there's this. Everybody comes and sits on the stairs. There's actually a very interesting exhibit here every year called it's some sort of can. They make things out of cans. So if you look up World Financial Center or Brookfield Place can exhibition, it's really cool if you're near New York City. And you can see the fancy. These are all Gucci. Okay, so we're going to go into. I'm going to get one view of the Freedom Tower, and we're going to go into something that's brand new called the Oculus. I don't know if you can see it because the light's that winged shape thing. So we're going to be right across the street from the Freedom Tower. And then we'll go into the Oculus, which is another nice thing to visit. It's that white. We're going to be inside it. And there's, so we made it here. Right across the street. When they built it, this bottom part of the building is totally, I guess, truck bomb proof. I don't think anybody's in that part. Crazy that they got to do shit like that. And there's some more buildings. There's some other World Trade Center. The Memorial Park is right across the street here. There's the, I'm not going to go to that today, but you can actually see where the holes in the ground, the people standing around it. But we're going to be inside this white thing in a second. So let me go back inside. I mean, I have to admit, it's a lot of money, and I always think that we shouldn't be spending so much money and wasting it, but it is beautiful, and it makes me feel good. Okay, one rule I have is never block an escalator. So if I did one thing right today, it was to teach people not to block escalators. And you see, everybody in New York knows the rule. And then and again, nice stores here, very high end. It's kind of cool. They made a whole wall of stuff. Jeez. Look at this thing. Amazing. Again, this is called the Oculus. It's another nice thing they built. Now I feel a little lost myself right now because I don't usually come here that often. This also connects to the PATH trains, like right here. This is if you wanted to take a PATH train to Jersey City. That's where the PATH is. So now to get to the Oculus, you don't want to go through here. That'll take you to the Jersey trains. PATH. It's called the PATH trains. And we're going to be on the Oculus. But you can see pretty nice. Look at these floors. I paid a fortune for this place. You can actually go up there and stand. I know I've been up there. And there's just stores all around it. Okay, we're somewhere underneath the Freedom Tower or World Trade Center, the new one. Ooh. So we're going to be connecting with the subway stations. I'm just going to walk through it, and then I'll be just about at work. There's machine gun toting police officers. Always makes me feel uncomfortable, but I guess safe at the same time. And it can go down here, it goes somewhere else. There's a platform up there, and just to give you a roof, we're looking through the roof right now. So we're in that structure. It kind of looks like an eagle or something, or a bird. And you just take the escalator up, looks like, and you can get up to that top level. And I'm going to go into Fulton Center. And this is a lot of subway stations meet here. Okay, so we're now in Fulton Center, and we're almost at my office. About an hour and 15 minutes later. So it's a trade-off of time versus enjoyment. I mean, I could have gotten to work in 10 minutes. Welcome, welcome. And so we're in Fulton Station. They have, they've just put up some restaurants and candy places. Pretty nice here. They did a good job, but they spent, I think, like $10 billion of good taxpayer money. Okay, we're coming pretty close to the end of the trip. Thank you for watching, everybody. I do appreciate it. I hope you liked it. I hope I wasn't too boring. If you want to follow me on Twitter, I'm at Alec Berg. I follow everybody who follows me back, and I won't unfollow you unless you unfollow me. So we are in Wall Street now. You just can't really tell because we're underground. And there's an escalator in front. It's pretty quiet in here.
That wind is going through you, huh? Yeah.
Okay, and this escalator will take me up to Fulton Street. I'm gonna walk up. Any final questions for me? I may do one on the way home and take another route, which would be around 4:45. But it depends how much data usage I have, because it costs a lot of money to do this. So here we're almost out, and I'm going to be at my office in a second. Anyway, good luck to all of you. Have a great, great, great day.